So, what I've been mentioning is a crime against me to the point of total disregard for the facts of what I've been living through, the facts of a long standing covert arsenic poisoning, and what it does to a guy. So, how can they disregard me suggesting that I couldn't barely breathe down to the cellular level, not to mention my own lungs? And to make as well my own heart's rhythm going down to zero, as though it's a mental health crisis, when it has nothing to do with mental health and everything to do with the physical state of the body. And now the system wants to as well clip up my work. It's not only that I can't speak out, but so that they're taking away my right to suggest that I couldn't speak out for myself at all when I was being poisoned up out of my dome to begin with. It's a benign crime. It's asinine how they're offending me. They're trying to entrap me within the very system that is supposed to protect me. Surprise, surprise, because they've gotten away with this same type of crap before. And they aren't willing to side with anything that has anything to do with the truth that I'm suggesting here within this behavior that they've taken up before. Just railroading me. Just completely railroading me. So it doesn't surprise me that they aren't willing to side with the truth here or find any truth in any circumstance, because these are seriously a group of very harsh syndicate types. Spree Masons, we'll call them, as you can imagine. Mason of free masonry, working in total seclusion in this fashion to undermine the law and what the law was there for, to give us the law in the first place about. And it was man before law. Man gave agency over to other men as both sovereigns to create their judicial system, and it was not given through our agency so that they could undermine the laws that they write up, but to help us within the law, meaning the victim of crimes. Not to take a long-standing poisoning out of the equation when it's seemingly very calculated and well crafted to even create these proxy relationships, meaning to take me out to the trash, meaning to take me out to the curb, when it's been that way since I was born. Oh, puffed up by goody two-shoes, my dad. So they protect my dad, right? I have no rights to suggest anything within the agency given over onto man to work on these levels, not even to them to establish the courts for in favor of these people, but for the favor of me, being that I'm constantly the one being set up and trapped and railroaded through what I feel is being planned currently to the T. Oh, okay. Right. As if the arsenic abuse after this long didn't create that diabetes symptom to begin with, not to mention the available ways that it's taken my breath away. And no, not in likely manners of, oh my gosh, you take my breath away, but actually taking away my ability to breathe. Taking away my ability to breathe so harshly that I would be falling to the ground at work, crying at times, not able to figure out where it was coming from, but because I also couldn't clearly think things through within an arsenic poisoning of a very calculated type, unwittingly being a party of something just heinous, an arsenic poisoning to that levels that you couldn't really see clear through, right? But they're just doing it to me constantly to assume my life prior to me even being able to live a life at all. 13, 5, 22, 7, 34. It doesn't matter what age it was. It's not being recognized as the crime itself, rather, it's being recognized as a mental health crisis because that's what they needed to do to make it into anything other than what it was, a biological controlling of my life through a very calculated, very strategic poisoning of my body. So they're not recognizing anything of my work at all to do with heart work, because heart work was to suggest for a ministry to not only speak to the levels against the targeted, against the targeters, the people targeting the targeted, but it was my telling a person that I was a non-violent, non-threatening person, so that they are rather creating the violence here out of thin air to suggest to my being violent to protect me against myself for what? My rapist father to get away with rape? For what? So all these proxy made partners and relationships that have been created, and not to mention the hacking and the hijacking of my life and my data and my love life in order to weaponize my love life against me, take away status away from me before I can even become anything of myself to grind for myself. So it should be them getting jail time, not me. Even if I said some things out of context, or that they wanted to take out of context because of a long-standing covert abuse that I was still coming up out of, covertly being that poisoned up for that long, doesn't show my true nature, nor does it show my character. It wouldn't merit for jail time, that's for sure, and it certainly wouldn't merit them getting away with railroading me into the ground, into homelessness, and out of my own grind for myself to be able to save my own life. But see, it certainly is something that they're considering merit to take away more of what life has already been taken from me. They're considering it meritable to as well clip up my work, not taking anything else that I've said in the positive and making it for a positive direction for myself to be able to work on my own heart. But they're also taking away my right of 39 years, 40 years worth of my awareness of life at all, to be able to investigate what exactly was happening to me. Because it was happening to me, it wasn't happening from me. So these are impressive crimes. As I'm trying to save my life, they're railroading me and they're utilizing what little that they can clip up to try and come after me. For what? For speaking the truth about a situation that I've been railroaded in every single job and every single outlet of my grind that I could find myself to try and work. Impressive little devils, I guess. Impressive crimes. That's who they protect over my life. As though I've had any real go at a life at all. And yet I've had to do what I've called heartworks to save myself from the abuse, and it's what I call heartworks to be able to work on my heart. So they're trying to take away my availability to me, my availability to myself, my availability to a love life, my availability to work, my availability to my own heart's beats. As if that's not a very physical and violent threat. So I didn't do anything wrong, and I'm not the violent oppressor, Rather, these people are the violent oppressors who would poison up their own, who would create these proxy relationships to continue the poisoning that they couldn't do themselves anymore. And furthermore, how could I? I don't even know where my father lives. Yet I know where Jesse lives. He lives 2 blocks away from me, and he's merited a poisoning of me ever since I was 17 years old, and I haven't done anything to threaten his life. But he and these proxy made lovers, they have certainly threatened my life. But it's just being ignored, and frankly, the abuse is coming from them towards me, not from me towards them. For they're all so clever affairs, I'm just speaking out about these matters, and just because I'm speaking out about these matters, and because I was coming out of a long-standing, covert, very malignant, narcissistic type of an abuse that had to do with poisoning me up for their own affairs so that they could get away with their own affairs, all of a sudden I'm the one that they're suggesting is being, what are they saying here? They're saying threats of violence and reckless disregard risk. If you ask me, they're the ones that are threatening me, and they're the disregard risk based on everything that I've been saying out here. Unless you're putting more of my story together, you're not putting anything together. I have the right to speak out against my pedophile father. I have the right to cover the affairs that have been happening to me to keep me within proxy made relationships, meaning to weaponize my love life. I have the absolute right to move and to steal back my own energy that they were trying to steal from me. And I thought that man was my friend. So I didn't think that I was going to have to face up with these covert, very malignant, narcissistic affairs and him coming into my home to gaslight me. So I don't know how to get out of the railroading of me within the situation without an actual lawyer that isn't being paid from the state, because they get paid either way. I don't know how to come out of this with any kind of great outcome at all when it's suggesting to put me away for 5,000 or for 5,000 for 5 years, or pay $10,000, or both. Only fighting for my heart beats, you see. Fighting for my health after what they have done to me, you see. But with this added stress, it's suggesting to me the same things that I've been saying all along. They are just ignoring the impeccable amounts of crime that have been happening to me to kill me out before I ever even get out of this abuse that's been my whole life. To be able to have an organic life, an origination of me made available to me at all, to be able to continue working, to be able to continue having any kind of relationship at all. My own dad could stalk me even as a kid. And I, like I said, believe that he had set up Danny Heinrich, or Danny Heinrich was set up against me to come and try and kidnap me 3 times before the age of 11. Who else does it happen to? Nobody. So my dad could have incontinence on me, rape my sister. For crying out loud, man. This shit has got to stop. This crime has got to be recognized for the monstrosity that it actually is. Before now, it's coming at me from all angles, including the very system that's supposed to protect me. Not the other way around, protecting these mighty liars and assholes to continue to get away with their crimes and their crime spree over my life, my mind, weaponizing my love life, and my ability in life to grow into being anything better for myself, because that is also what heart work was about. So they're not letting me to be able to create my website. They're not letting me do anything of me. They're stealing literally the essence of me. and the sanctity of who I would otherwise be out of me. And if you ask me, they are the violent ones. They are the violent oppressors, not me. If anything were to merit that I was a violent oppressor or a violent person, when I'm suggesting to everyone that I'm a non-violent person, then why wouldn't they think that 2 blocks away a, after that many years of being poisoned, that wouldn't constitute of a guy taking the opportunity to be violent? I forgive them, just as the Bible suggests. I forgive them, for they know not what they do. How does that suggest my being violent? Can you explain that to me? Because I don't see it as violence. I see it as I'm forgiving them and I want to move on with my life. And just because I forgive them doesn't mean I have to be around them. But I should be able to call back my own energy from these people and be able to move about my life away from these people. So I'd like your support. If this is what they're doing, and this is how they want to railroad me based on a few things that I've said coming out of a long-standing arsenic poisoning without actually collecting and putting together that I have many things that I've written up for a website, a very beautiful website, to tell you the truth. For my own mind's ability to grow and become better from what's been happening to me. If they're not allowing that to take place, then what are they what do people think that they're doing? I'm not even allowed to face my accusers. It's saying witness 1 and witness 2. Then who are the witnesses? And if I have the right to face my accuser, then I should be able to know that before I get myself into a Zoom call or into a court situation where they're not allowing me to my own rights. Because if they just take it and if they just take this stuff and railroad me as if they hadn't done this before, while I was unwittingly a party to a very cold and calculated, long-standing covert arsenic abuse, or whatever poison that it was. They did this to me, and I'm not the oppressor. I am the oppressed. And it has nothing to do with mental illness, depression, or anxiety. It has everything to do with what that biological warfare agent did to me in my life. So if that's not being recognized for what it is, I don't know what will. But I believe that my rights are being railroaded, and I believe that they're taking up every avenue to create plans that I really don't have any say or any availability to make the record within. Because what they'll do is say that I am being held in contempt. I am going against them to be possibly taken to be held in contempt of court. When I'm not the one that's in contempt of the courts. When they're railroading the very truth and the very essence of truth, they are actually the perpetrators of the oppressive behavior and in contempt of the very standing of what the courts are supposed to be about. It is man that is above the law. Man created the law. Man gave agency over to these lawmen and judicial officials of the judiciary system so that they could utilize the system to establish and get and find the truth. That's what they were about. Without that truth and without you being able to get to that truth and they just railroad you, that is a very, very sinister place to be in, because now you're up against a whole gang of people, not to mention my own father, my own brothers, these proxy-made lovers to weaponize my love life, the same way that Jesse did in the past with Cheryl, did with Aurelia. And furthermore, it's railroaded me just being within the relationship with Emily. Because, look, she said, I don't even care what happens to the car. I got full coverage on it. Right after poisoning me up and I'm on my way to work, falling apart. I thought I was gonna die right there on 35W. I thought I was gonna die a couple times right on 7, just trying to make it home. From the very calculated cold shoulders of all these people within proxy. That's not what love is. That has nothing to do with what love is. Love, true love, you would never have to question it. Not once. And if you did, and you did question it, maybe because you had personal doubts or because you've had an experience, that person will show you that they love you, and you're not going to have a second doubt about that love. So what I'm expressing out here needs to be heard for what it is, because it's raw, honest, and direct from my voice. I have the right to my voice after being completely stripped out of my ability to reason, my ability to put these sentences together in this fashion. And I have a real story to tell. And I think that just frightens all of these gangsters. So thanks for being here. I really appreciate you, and I need your support earthed in to what I'm saying out here online. If I can earn your support, it means a whole great deal to me. And until next time, much love and God bless you. I'm on your side.